Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Blue Maxima. Welcome back to Let's Play Gundam Breaker 3. Last time we got through the majority of Chapter 2, but we had to cut a little short so that the video wasn't 2 hours long. But now, this time, we're going to finish off Chapter 2, and we're going to show off a little bit of Gundam customization and the SD Gundam, along with some customization for him as well. So here we are back in the hangar. Arse is flat as a pancake, but the black and red looks really cool, so we'll deal with it. Let's go into the setup screen, shall we? So you might notice down the bottom here that we have access to 3 new things along here now. The SD selection, module, and paint. And we're going to take the opportunity to go over all of them before we go jumping into the next mission. So SD selection is not something we can make good use of yet, because we don't have access to more Gundams, but we get access to more SD Gundams in different forms, and while their actual look doesn't really do anything to their performance, you might notice that they all have proficiency meters. And these proficiency meters will unlock a new EX action for us once it's completely filled up. So that's great, gives you a reason to swap out between the different looks, and you get a few new attacks out of it. Who fails there? There's no downside to it whatsoever. What's arguably more interesting though is the SD modules. Now, these are individual things that you can set on your SD Gundam in order to help you out in battle. And there's a few of the obvious ones here. Attack support, do more damage. Recovery support, get more health. Burst support, get more time in awakening. The interesting ones are down the bottom though. Analyze weak points. It's more likely to cause parts to be broken off. Always useful, great for looting. High-speed learning, increased proficiency of actions, so you learn your EX actions faster, you get your SD Gundam stuff faster, always a benefit. But the one that you always want on, all the time, is treasure hunting. Treasure hunting it's a skill in this game, it's an ability, and what it does is, it gets you more parts, and it gets you higher grade parts. So you should always have this on as soon as you have the opportunity. I'm stupid in this game because I didn't actually go to the effort of turning it on, but now I have, thankfully. In my alternate universe game though, I turned it on immediately, and the difference is staggering. You should always have that on. It's also an ability that you can unlock for your main Gundam as well. You have the ability to give him the treasure hunting ability, and combine that with the SD module and you will be swimming in parts. With that said though, let's go and take a look at the SD paint. This is a ever so slightly cut down version of the thing that we get on the mainline Gundam, but I figure now is as good a time as any to introduce it before we make our Gundam look like an absolute ponce. So we have a few options that we can work with here, and we're currently on the All tab, which means everything that we do will be reflected across the entirety of the Gundam itself. And we have a few options here. We can change the surface, and the surface is determined by the pattern, of which there is a fair few. I'll just change them one by one and let them load in so you can see what all the patterns are. There we go. You can of course also change the color by holding triangle and using the left stick here to maneuver around the color. You can turn the brightness down a fair bit if you so desire. And you also have the ability to get precise RGB values if you so desire. And you're even allowed to save these. So I believe now that we've got the dark blue, if I hit circle to confirm the edit, I can then hit triangle to save it into the color here. So you can see that we're saving it into those 3 slots. So now if we go into the coloring, there they are down the bottom there in the new 3 slots. And of course it gives you a bunch to start out with, which will get you most of the spectrum, but of course you can always make your own custom color if you like. And you can also turn down how glossy and how metallic they are. So if I turn down the gloss but keep up the metallic side of things, look at that. Nice and fucking shiny. You also have the ability to come down here and apply custom palettes, which is nice. And if we want to add this current setup, so the pattern, the coloring, the glossiness, and the metallicness, if we accept it and then hit triangle, it'll give us the option to save the surface. And we've got plenty to work with here. This gives you so many customization options. Like, look, just compare that to that to that to that to the candy cane paint. Why there is an option for candy cane paint, I have no idea, but it's there and it exists. So you can do this not only with every surface, you can also get all the way down to the nitty gritty. So let's just use the backpack as an example. The backpack is currently the lance with its handle, its spikes, the cape on the inside and the outside, and the thing that holds them together. So if I want blue polka dots on the thing that holds them together, a candy cane style paint on the inside and the outside of the cape, and if I want the lance to be bloody Hyaku Shiki style yellow, or I want its handle to be red, and I want the spikes to be a dark blue, I can do that, and it's fucking sick. That is legitimately a stupid amount of customization. And remember what I said earlier? Not only can you do it with this guy, but you can do it with your main Gundam as well. So just for the purpose of consistency, we're going to be making most of this blue. But we'll keep the internals a different color. I think we'll make them a nice dark black. No, on second thought, that doesn't look very good. Let's make it orange, no. There, we'll make it a slightly lighter blue. And you can even change the color of his eyes. You can change the color of his fucking eyes, and not only can you change the color of his regular eyes, you can change what color his eyes glow when he's in awakening mode. And you can even change the fucking sticker. Even to the point where he has no irises, or he looks like he just got kicked in the balls, or he looks like he's just seen some shit. This is great. Like, I mean, in what way can you not argue that this isn't fucking great? And not to mention, we can come down here and change how dirty he looks. So it looks like someone's just thrown him in a dirt pile and left him there. We can change how much he's airbrushed to give the lines some more detail. We're going to leave that on, actually. We can change how much chipping there is, how much damage he's taken, and how stained his fucking feet are with dirt. Don't get me wrong, it's no livery editor a la, let's say Forza, for example. But this is still a ridiculous amount. And don't forget, we've still got more that we can do with the mainline Gundam. This is actually a cut down version of what you can do with the mainline Gundam. So I'm just going to hit X, and we're going to head back to the hangar. It's also worth noting that if you don't like what you've done, you can abandon all your changes with the triangle button when you move to another tab. It's great. It's legitimately great. Just how much customization you've got. And look how much do you think we can do with that guy? Trust me, the answer's a lot. So let's go to the mission counter and pick out the next mission, the Regional Cup semi-finals. Tournament rules, core assault, doesn't matter. I can explain that as we go. And look, we can see him up big and up close. Absolutely mental, but it looks great because I did it. But yeah, like, it's so much customization. You want your Gundam to be a bloody rainbow Technicolor powerhouse, you can do that, and it's great. So yeah, that's pretty much all we've got for right now, so let's just hop into the next mission. So this mission is actually pretty simple. We got a core right there, and here comes people trying to blow up that core. Enemy players! Bloody hell, they look like the team that assaulted, God, I'm literally watching Gundam 79. I could give you this reference if I was further on in it right now, but damn it, they look like that bloody team that assaults the... No, sorry, it's not coming to me, I've lost it. But yeah, this is a pretty simple kind of mission. Just blow the crap out of them and try and keep them away from your core. Thankfully, if you're up there just beating the shit out of them, there's very little chance they're actually going to get distracted. So, of course I'm going for the joints. Why wouldn't I go for the joints? They always sound so surprised. You think they wouldn't be able to make it through a freaking tournament without knowing that they're going for the freaking parts. But at this point, I'm just nitpicking. Yeah, the difficulty has also gone up. Did I even remember to put it on hardcore? I don't think I did. One thing I hate about this game, it doesn't remember what difficulty you did last time. So you have to constantly remind it to put you on hardcore, but it doesn't matter. As far as I'm aware, it's not that different. Oh well, we'll figure it out as we go. Again, these aren't even the interesting difficulties. We'll get to the interesting difficulties, trust me. Yay, free round, blah, 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 blah. Also, it's worth noting that you do get these turrets here, but they're generally not as effective as you would want them to be. So here we go. We defended against one wave of them, now we get to defeat like 3 waves of theirs. Because that's a thing. Shining miss! Shining miss! That was a weird train of thought I just had. So, I believe it's Scary Movie 4. I know this is a weird reference to bring up in the middle of this Let's Play, but I don't really have anything else in the way of commentary, so let's go with it. I said Shining Miss, and it reminded me of how people say, oh, you look positively stunning today, when a pregnant woman comes along, or someone they think is pregnant. I don't know if it's just a psychic thing or what. It's just a trope, right? Or a cliche or what have you. But then I ended up thinking of the Scary Movie 4 joke, which is actually one of the better jokes in that movie. Which is like, this obviously pregnant woman gets out of a car, and she's like, and someone's like, oh, you look absolutely stunning today, when's the baby due? And she's like, I'm not pregnant, she's just fat. I don't know why I thought of that. Just to give you that's just to give you an idea of the incredibly shitty trains of thought I go on sometimes. I hope you appreciate this reminiscing about a not particularly good movie. At least I'm pretty sure it was Scary Movie 4. You never know with those bloody movies. They blend together. It is a shame because the first few Scary movies were good, but then the rest were absolute rubbish. I guess I know what the subtitle of this episode is going to be. Smack. Still missed. Yes, you are in a tight spot. You are literally surrounded by 3 of us getting your shit kicked in. Good night. But yes, now the shield is open, we're able to attack it. Just trust me though, this won't last long. It isn't a timed thing. It isn't anything like that. It's literally just once you get it damaged enough, the shield goes back up. See? And here comes the second wave. Annoyingly enough, right behind us. Gotcha. Don't you run away. One particular thing I noticed about the enemy AI in this game is that if none of their parts are broken, they'll just run away. They'll try and get the safety while they can get their parts back on. Which, I mean, to be fair, is probably the best thing you could do. But you've still probably got 1 or 2 perfectly capable dudes still chasing you down from far away. So it's like, you know, how much is it going to accomplish? But still, I appreciate the little details. Annihilate him while he's in the floor. Leave senseless. That leaves 2 more by the looks of it, because that guy hasn't buffed himself. Yep, there he is off in the distance. Oh. Free ground break. Free ground break. There we go. Yep, they're gonna watch you lose, mate. Oh, that's gonna sting. Yes, you've said that already. Oh. Of course I'm going for the joints. Have you not been paying attention? Funny thing is, there's no way to like particularly aim for joints. Like, there are some attacks that will actively break out parts, but actively aim for joints is not something that you can do. So it's a bit weird that he says it in that way. Oh, I don't think it's this one that you have to worry about the third wave coming along. Although one thing you do have to worry about is if this spits out a bunch of parts and you don't collect them when you get the mission complete sign like that, you might not actually get them. I've not paid too much attention to how that works, but yeesh, it's just kind of annoying is all, especially how it takes a few seconds for the automatic suck up all the parts thing to come in, and that kind of sucks. So see, we just filled out the proficiency with that particular SD Gundam model, and now we get that Knight Gundam Comet Sword. If I remember correctly, that's actually pretty useful. At least early on, when you don't have that much to work with. And just some basic parts, nothing in particular worth worrying about.
説にはなんと世界初のプロガンプラファイター皆さんご存知ミスターガンプラをお呼びしています。ミスターよろしくお願いします。
Afro! Why? I don't know. Notably, this guy was the first professional Gunpla fighter. So, it raises so many questions about the history of the Gunpla fighting industry that never get resolved. It's so bizarre.
ファイターたちは相変わらず楽しそうにガンプラバトルをしているなと言いたかったのだよ。
なるほど。時代は変わってもガンプラを楽しむ気持ちは変わらないということですね。
その通りだね。素晴らしいコメントだ。
And of course he immediately hits on her.
それでは
Because of
最後
course
の
he
決勝
does.
戦、皆さんお楽しみに。
さっきの放送を見た？ミスターガンプラが見てるんだって。すごいね。あー、ロボタは知らないか。世界で初めてプロのガンプラファイターになった人だよ。世界中いろんな大会を総なめにするくらい強かったの。確か8年前に引退して今は解説とかやってるんだ。なんで君までへえ、
I'm
そう
not
なんだ。
doing anything. I'm standing here. I'm a silent protagonist. What do you want from me?
さて、そろそろ時間だよ。
Also, those ears. Those tiny ears. Open them if you have room. You can carry 900 parts of each type. It's very hard to run out of room. Alright, so, before we get on to the next mission, which is the final mission of the chapter, yep, let's do it for our main Gunpla as well, because why not? So we have a few other options here that we can make use of, but a lot of it is very similar. We also have the ability to add emblems. Do I want to support the Titans? Bet your ass I do. See, there it is on the shoulder. And you even have the ability to adjust them. So let's say I want to make this white base logo absolutely massive. I can do that. And you can see that it's also been applied across multiple parts. Oh, cancel. I want to press circle. There we go. And of course, you can also apply emblems on every individual part, if you so desire. So let's say I want the one on the side of my head to not be white base. I want it to be Phantom Pain. Ah, that reminds me of a bad game. Let's see, what do we got here? Skull and Crossbones, why not? Age 2 Dark Hound emblem. That almost looks like a... whatchamacallit? A crossbone emblem, but okay, we'll make do. We can adjust it too. Can barely even see it because the head is white, but let's go and change his head color so that it's black. There you go, now you can see it more clearly. And you can apply, again, every one of those emblems on, well, almost every part of the body. The part of the bodies that are reasonable. Oh, you can even apply it to the weapons, apparently. Where the hell would it even go on, well, it's right there on the sides of the guns, of course. What else would I expect, really? It's even there on the axe. So you want to put emblems on everything, you can do that. We even have caution marks. See? How neat. How neat is that? And of course, you can adjust all of the weathering stuff going on here, including how metallic everything is and how glossy it is. Make it look a bit glossy. And we can even change it for the builder's parts. Although notably there is a little bit less customization here than you might appreciate from time to time, but you can still do it. So you can see on the arms there, the beam cannons. Change them to green. And candy cane red with a little bit of yellow, why not? So you can see up there that they're a little bit different. And you can even add emblems to them as well, but you're never gonna bloody see those emblems in the middle of a fight. So it's not like it matters, but you can still do it. Even change the blade colors. It's seriously ridiculous just how cool it is. But there is one notable thing about Gundam specifically. It's that how well these parts tend to work together if you apply the same color to most of it. Or at least something relatively similar. So let's just go to the legs and change the parts. And here's the arms. Now, I'm not going to claim that this looks good, but what I'm trying to say is how it looks like it is its own unit sometimes. And there are some absolutely ridiculously good-looking Gundams that you can get if you play around with these systems, with particular backpacks, with arms, legs, body, making sure it all fits together a fair bit better. If you spend the time making Gundams look good, you can make them look really, really good. Also, of note, you can press the start button to bring out the transform, and you can even change what the color is on the inside. So I believe we can change this to blue if we like. If you're a fan of, say, the Unicorn Gundam, for example, how all its parts open up and it just has that red lining on the inside, you can change that to any other color you damn well please. You want a black Unicorn Gundam that opens up and has white on the inside? You can do that and it'll look pretty sick. It would look pretty damn sick. But if you tap, you can even do some preset themes. Hang on, let's just go back to everything and apply it across the entire thing. So, even if you have a little bit of trouble deciding what your overall setup is going to be, you can start with one of these and then work your way down. And it still manages to look great throughout. We're not going to spend too much time customizing right now because we might get some better parts we want to swap to later on and it'll make the entire thing look ridiculous. But seriously, the amount of goddamn effort you can put into this to making a good looking Gundam is something else entirely. And the best part is, it comes with the ability to get some photographs. Unfortunately, I don't know if this service is actually working, so I might need to go and do this later and come back with like an EX episode showing how this works, but you've got a few different things you can do here. So you can turn off the display here, and if you want to just like take a screenshot of your Gundam and have it be in the background of like, say, a desktop or something, you can do that, at least with the Vita's built-in screenshot feature and the PS4 screenshot feature as well. I do apologize for the sudden flashing light. But there's a few other things you can do as well. Tilt it, you can hide the action base to make him look like he's just standing on his own. You can change the backgrounds. You can change the pose. And one notable thing, oh yeah, you can also change what the shield is and what the weapon is. So if you want him to look like a dumbass holding a one-handed axe in two hands like this, when it's clearly meant to be a shooting pose, you can do that. But here's one of the cool things you can do. You know the little transition you get when you go into awakening mode and it does that little freeze frame on your Gunpla at that point? If we press the start button, we can register this as our awaken pose and it'll show up. You can also hold the start button to transform. So that pose is going to be the pose he goes into when we go into awakening mode in the next mission. And you've got a heap of different poses to choose from. A few of them are some of the classic poses, like the one with Amuro's Gundam with one arm shooting up into the air. That's definitely in there. There's definitely a lot more poses that you can choose from as well. And you know what the cool thing is too? You can actually, if you set it like this, let's go back to the Assembled tab. Ah, it didn't change. Wait, no, I gotta go back to just Setup, I believe. Look at that, it's even changed it out here too. And the cool thing is, if you've got like a Stargazer backpack on, you turn the transform mode on so that the green circles are flying around the outside. It'll even display it here too. So you just get that little bit of an extra appreciation for just how cool you've made your Gunpla look. I haven't done that. I've made mine look like a dumbass, but you can do that. And of course, you can also rename your Gunpla. So let's just call this by what it truly is. Dumb. And we can also press triangle to save. And press square to load him back up. We're not going to do that, but let's just say you want to have like a couple of different Gunpla for a couple of different purposes. There you go. One for grinding, one for playing. And of course, you can also see all of his abilities and stuff over here. So that's the amount of customization you can do. 200 plus Gunpla, plus being able to paint every individual part of their body, plus being able to change their poses and everything and add labels and shit. It's incredibly in-depth. And in a later episode, we're going to see just how far people are capable of taking it. But for now, let's keep this video under an hour. Let's go and play the Regional Cup Finals. You still look like you've seen some shit, mate. It looks great. Alright, let's hit start and go. I completely forgot to put the difficulty back onto hardcore. God damn it. Oh well. Thankfully, for this boss, I probably wanted to... Notably, the SD Gundam didn't change in that intro cutscene there. He's fine here, though. Golden Spear, Blue Chastity. So anyway, here's another big-ass boss. The Absolus 2. The big bosses in this game can be kind of a little shit. And by a little shit, I mean they are really goddamn annoying. For example, I can do that. You probably want to maintain your repair things in your options equipment, because they can do an absolute ton of damage. Bless me. And you probably want to keep your distance for as long as possible. Oh, also, we got a new shield that has a shield-equipped weapon, so we've got an extra projectile weapon too. That's fun. The power of them is determined by what level the shield is. Always worth keeping one around if you want a little bit of extra ranged attack power. Always. You've got to be really careful about getting in close, because even when they're using like big smash attacks like that, or just big cannons that go out the front of them, sometimes they've got an area of effect attack or just an AoE for shielding themselves. So they'll be able to hit you even though they're clearly not attacking in your direction. It can be really shit from time to time, which is why these big bosses can be such a pain in the ass to get rid of sometimes. That one was clearly my fault. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I'm just saying it's possible, and you can absolutely get creamed. It's also why things like stagger resistance are incredibly valuable when it comes to a boss fight like this. He's gonna do the all directions? Nope. No, he spins up before he does that. And sometimes you can just pull that shit out of his ass, and next thing you know, you're on the ground with a backpack falling off. Big bosses, never change. They do at least give you a nice bit of variety though, although the downside is that if you're a melee focused build, good luck. You're not getting close half the time. At least your AI companions are more than capable of keeping themselves alive. In the original Gundam Breaker, they are way less capable of taking care of themselves, and it can suck. Oh yeah, he's invulnerable right now because story plot armor. Bigger doesn't always mean better, you know. That's weird coming from him.
こっちの攻撃は全部が必殺級の威力なんだぞ。
Who cares as long as it doesn't hit us?
それは当たったら
I mean, he's right.
ってことだよ。
All credit to him, he's right. Charge.
あんた見てるだけでしょ。
Damn, I missed.
姉さん気が散るんでちょっと静かに。
Might as well heal our dudes. There's more coming. He's about to, yep, stomp. That takes out all your parts. It leaves you defenseless. Again, why do you think I have such a heavy focus on ranged weapons when it comes to these guys? This is why I say don't neglect your option equipment. Because in a situation like this, it is absolutely worth having as many bits of option equipment around just for the extra ranged attacks while you're waiting for your main weapons to recharge.
こんなのどうすか？聞いてない。
It's also great to have options weapons like this. Like, there's a couple of weapons like this. Denkomaru, Senkomaru plus Tanegashima. So you press circle once and it's a melee attack, but if you hold it, it turns into a long-range attack, which you can then repeatedly fire by tapping the circle button afterwards. It's great. Legitimately great to have that kind of versatility as an optional weapon available to you. Ow. No. Oh, well, I can't even go into Awakening until I've got all my parts back. Actually, I should probably be in the middle of the... God damn it!
逃がさない。ダメージが。
Yeah, watch this.
もうちょっとだよ。
See, it's the pose we said earlier. How neat is that? Oh, look, Mr. Gunpla notices that you're doing something, and it's like, oh, what's he doing? Because to be fair, this does actually, like, get slightly relevant to the story later. So it's just kind of a nice touch. Come on down. This isn't going to hit him, but I might be able to get him in the long range. Like this. Not dealt no damage to him whatsoever. Let's just heal those guys up so they are completely dead in the water.
ダメージが。
Blinding!
そこ。
パーツが取れた。
Almost there.
いつの間にこんな。聞いてない。ダメージが。
Finish it off with a Tanegashima. Why not? Why not?
機体のダメージが。
あの機体、あの輝きは。
姉さん。ごめん。 決まった。
Dramatic 4 frames per second landing.
ガンプラチーム。
やったやったね。
お見事、主殿。
He's not painted. Not painted. What a jib. I feel ripped off. It's got to be a bug or something, right? Considering that I was clearly, like, in the right colors. But yeah, that was actually a pretty simple boss fight. Just keep your distance, dodge through the attacks, and open up with every long-range weapon you got. That generally gets you through a lot of these fights. Although it's worth noting that in the higher difficulties, they can and will wipe the floor with you. So it is recommended that you be careful. Anyway, we got a story cutscene coming up. When the game decides to finish loading in 2022. Why is this so hard? What's going on? It's just 2D elements and voice clips. It can't be that difficult, surely. Don't do this to me now. Oh, there we go. Took you long enough. Almost spent as much time loading as we did waiting for that. Almost spent as much time in the mission as we did waiting for it to load.
もしもし、私です。ミスターガンプラです。次のジャパンカップなんですが、お願いしたいことが。
それでは隼人商店街ガンプラチームのリージョンカップ優勝を祝して乾杯。
乾杯。
乾杯ってなんで私らまで乾杯してんだバカか。
ただ酒飲ましてもらって何が不満なんだ。
そうっすよ姉さん、せっかくなんだから楽しくやりましょうよ。
私のはジュースじゃねえか。酔えるか。
さすがに未成年にお酒は飲ませられないよ。
父さん、この人これでみそじすぎなんだよ。
なんですって？それ本当なの？
悪いか。どうせ見た目小学生だよ。
教えて。
あ？
私にもその若作りの秘訣教えて。
作ってんじゃないんだよ。いいから酒持ってこいよ。
以上がタイムズ
Oh,
ユニバース
here we go. We're on to actual
各店の
plot.
収支報告です。
God forbid.
一つだけあまり伸びてない店舗があったね。どこだと言ったかな。
隼人駅前店ですね。
ああ、時代に取り残された小汚い商店街があるところか。
責任者によりますと、商店街の広告戦略が効果を上げてきているとのことです。
広告戦略？
隼人商店街はガンプラバトルチームを広告塔として今シーズン8区の快進撃中であると。先日のリージョンカップ決勝戦は全国にライブ中継が行われたようです。そこで商店街の名前が。
ガンプラバトル。ドロシー、日本行きのチケットと滞在先を用意してくれ。ドロシー。
申し訳ありません、ウィルボッチャマン。本日の勤務時間は数分前に終了しました。必要であれば明日以降にまたお申し付けください。
時間外手当出すから。
お茶入れますね。いつ立たれますか？
今すぐだ。
なるはやと手配しておきます。
まあいいか。ところで、
3S, isn't it
3S の件は
9S?
どうなってる？
間もなく全株式の 67% を取
That's a
得
bad
完
reference.
了
I
し
haven't
ま
even
す。
played that game to
正直
completion.
申し上げて何の利益にもなりませんが。
汚いビジネスに手を染めた無様な大人に報いを受けさせるのさ。僕はこの汚れた世界を浄化しているんだよ。
中二病ですか？
なんだいその中二病って。
若年層を中心と
Fair
した流
question.
行り病です。根拠のない全能
He
感が
legitimately does
信
sound
頼
like a
されています。
12-year-old.
いや、全くそんな症状はないが。
そうですか。お大事に。
But yes, that is the start of like some actual plot, if you can believe it. We're not just going through tournaments trying to win. It's bizarre, but okay. Alright, we're back in the hangar. And as I said, we were going to try having this video avoid being an hour long, so we're going to end it off here. But next time we're going to go through what I describe as the filler arc of Chapter 3, because goddamn there is a lot of filler in that. And we possibly might need to take on the missions I just did in hardcore mode in order to get all the rewards we were supposed to get. I need to go look something up. With that said though, this has been Blue Maxima. I'll see you all next time.